Yo, guys and gals, it's Tripl-L, and now let's talk Little Witch Academia episode. Give me a second, I forgot the episode number. We're episode 18. Little Witch Academia episode 18. The episode was delayed from the subgroups, but they put it up and now we've got it. I've just finished watching the episode, just finished it 5 minutes ago, so this is probably the fastest watch to talk time that I've had for any episode when I'm covering it. So here's what's up. I'm first gonna start off by giving out my, again, general opinion on Little Witch Academia as a series. And I have to do that because I want you guys to understand the bias that I am going in with Little Witch Academia. And specifically because every week, Little Witch Academia challenges what I think the series is about. And at this point now I'm starting to get into the groove and I'm just starting to accept the reality of what Little Witch Academia is. And the stuff that I said last week, not the stuff that I said incorrectly about the KKK, but the stuff I said about Trigger wanting to just have a fun sequence, this week's episode proves that line of thought. Because this week's episode, let me just preface, I absolutely adore this episode. This is probably one of my favorite episodes, probably top 3. I love Constance as a character. I think she is the most hyper competent character in the show. So getting a full episode for her, I'm pretty happy. But the episode as a whole is just showing some of Little Witch Academia's quirks, and I just want to get those ideas out before I start talking about the episode, because I just feel I need to talk about the series as a whole. Now, for total transparency, I'm being a bit more critical of Little Witch Academia as I'm watching it, because I think maybe a week or two ago, someone in the comment section asked me if I could make a video about what I think makes Little Witch Academia so different than other anime. And truthfully, I was kind of just stumped at the initial question, just wondering, what does make it different? Some people in the comment sections, like Chico, are very vocal about what they see in Little Witch Academia. And at this point, I'm leaning more towards his interpretations when it comes to certain aspects of the show. Specifically, Little Witch Academia is showing design methodologies that are very consistent with the majority of Western animation. So every episode, I'm pretty much just coming into this series and I'm just looking to answer that question, what makes Little Witch Academia so different than other anime going on in this time frame, or in this time period, in these last couple of years. And actually, if you guys have anything you want to add to that particular question, what is it that makes Little Witch Academia different in your eyes, let me know down below. It's just gonna really help me out as I'm trying to answer that question myself. But for right now, just going into Little Witch Academia, if I have to be really objective about this when I come down to the end of it, because I like having some structure in my thoughts as I go through, and just because now that I talk on YouTube, I want to be relatively consistent with certain ideas that I have. So I have to be objective about Little Witch Academia, and when I ask myself, is Little Witch Academia a good series, it becomes very interesting, because the thing is, every series, you can't judge them all by the same criteria. You can't judge a drama by the criteria you would judge a gag show, right? That's stupid. You have to adjust your expectations according to the genre that it's in and according to what's going on. And that's where it becomes a little bit of a problem with Little Witch Academia, because Little Witch Academia is consistent in the fact that it's very inconsistent. And we see it with episodes like this. We now can just flat out say this is just Trigger having fun. Especially with this episode sequence, the giant robot battle, the timing. Look, last episode we had Amanda's episode and she had her last couple of minutes were just awesome. This episode, the last couple of minutes pretty much just turned into Gurren Lagann. That was insane. And it's just, you could tell that they really have fun with this series. It's just, at what price does that fun come at? What price do we get for that fun? And when it comes down to it, the inconsistency within Little Witch Academia, it's just, that on a technical level, it does take away a little bit from the series, unless you come in with the mindset that this is just a fun series. And that's something that Little Witch Academia always manages to pull off. It's a very fun series to come in and just watch. It's just, there's so many ideas going on, and sometimes the mix between those ideas just doesn't, well, I don't want to say it doesn't work, because it's fun, so it clearly does work. It just doesn't mesh well. That said, Little Witch Academia is easily a series that I would recommend for a casual anime viewer, specifically because I think it's very consistent with the likes of Adventure Time or Steven Universe. It has a very episodic format, and it has a lot of random episodes that don't necessarily tie into like an overall season-long storyline, but they help with the characters. They help you see a bit more of the moments in the lives of the characters. Is that a bad thing? No, it's just a different way of doing things. Then Little Witch Academia runs into its problems when it's really hard to tell when it's being super serious or when it has to be taken seriously. And if you look at the beginning, if you look at the first couple of Little Witch Academia episodes and you look at this batch of Little Witch Academia episodes, like these last 5 and the first 5, you know, like it's ridiculous how different they are in tone just because Little Witch Academia is too volatile of a series. That said, if someone was coming in from watching cartoons, or if they're coming in with just like a general, I don't really care about logic or flow, I just kind of want to have fun, I just have fun with a series, you know, Little Witch Academia is totally perfect for that type of viewer. And at this point, you know, I've just accepted some things. It's a very lighthearted affair. It just wants to do what it wants to do, and that's totally okay. But when it comes to like, is this a good series on paper? Is it good? What is its direction? You have to make the stipulation for Little Witch Academia in that it's different than a lot of other series going on because it's just wanting to do what it wants to do at the cost of a lot of things that have been established within anime at large, I suppose. Heck, man, even in like magical girl subgenre of things, the Little Witch Academia is like so different. This is more like a coming of age story, really, with just some like nice little twist with witches. Anyway, that's my opening preface for this video. I know it took a little bit long, but I feel like I need to like voice my opinions on this because every week my opinion changes. Now, let's actually gush about the episode. Guys, I won't hide this. I really like Constance. She is my favorite character. Ever since episode 4 with the giant dragon, Constance proved to me that she is the most competent person. Like, Constance is the one that saved the day in episode 4. Why? Because when magic runs out, she has machinery. The girl is the best. And, you know, just to go along with the machinery, it's actually pretty cool to see that Croa acknowledges that because she's the one that got Constance her permission to get into that competition. So, you know, Constance, I am so happy that we get a Constance episode. Man, like, oh, thank you so much, Trigger. Like, I appreciate that. And at this point, we can now assume that there's going to be episodes for the main characters. So at this point, we've gotten Lot's character episode, and we've gotten Amanda's character episode. We've gotten Constance's character episode. We're probably going to get... Well, we're definitely going to get Ursula's character episode. But that's going to be more part of the overarching plot in Little Witch Academia. And we're probably going to get, oh man, I'm forgetting her name, Jessamine, cause, you know, the one that eats a lot, Amanda's group. We're probably going to get her character episode. And then we might get a Susie character episode depending on whether or not Trigger is going to be okay with episode 8 or 9, the one that was the Susie mushroom episode. It really depends on what Trigger wants to do with that episode because right now we're in like a sub-arc of character episodes. So I would assume if they want to remain consistent with that idea that they would have another Susie episode. And I'd be totally okay with that. I think Susie's a really great character and I want to see more from her. So that might be something to look forward to. And now to call back on that initial discussion on the structure of Little Witch Academia. Like, this is going to be a video talking about technicalities here because we are at episode 18 and according to the information that I looked up, and this could change, we have 25 episodes this season. So let's assume it's 25 episodes. That's the information that I saw. We still have 4 words unaccounted for, I'm pretty sure. It's either 4 or 3, but I'll assume 4 because I think we're at 4. I think we're at 4. I'm not too sure. Okay, whatever. Crucify me in the comments if I got the number wrong. But I'll assume 4 words are still missing. And now we know that the character episodes are happening. By the precedent that was set with the Amanda character episode, we're probably not going to get any of the words sorted out within the character episodes. And at worst case, there's only 1 character episode left. So that's not so bad. But that means that most likely, the plot's going to ramp back into gear at episode 20. And at that point, that's enough. We 5 episodes to do things with. We've got the setup. Something's going on with Diana's family. We're probably going to hit that plot point at episode 20. I doubt we're going to hit it next episode. I didn't see the preview either, so I'm kind of going in blind when I talk about the speculation for the next episode. But this could very easily turn into a very rushed affair, because giving 5 episodes to wrap up the majority of the plot lines that are being established right now, unless there's going to be a season 2 of Little Witch Academia. Look, man, not many series can pull it off. Not many series can use those 5 episodes to wrap up like the whole thing that's going on here. How many episodes did it take for Akko to get 3 words? Too many. So, it's not looking great when you look at just the sheer pacing. And the thing is, again, Little Witch Academia, it's so irregular in its pacing that we really might end up with a relatively rushed conclusion to this arc that's going on with the 4 words. That might be something that we're going to end up having to deal with. The thing is that Little Witch Academia has now set a precedent for itself in which it's okay with using really out there situations going down to justify whatever premise each episode is carrying in. We've seen it with the Green Man. We saw it with Amanda's episode. And now with Constance's episode. I actually think Constance's episode is probably the best when it comes to setting up the problem of the episode. But Little Witch Academia has set the precedent on a technical level that it's okay saying, we don't really care. We just want the thing to happen in the episode. So we're just going to make a situation to make the thing that we want happen. Is that bad? No, not really. At least Little Witch Academia has set the precedent, but it might be kind of annoying for some viewers depending on how you like viewing your anime. So, these next couple of episodes of Little Witch Academia are going to be very telling in terms of what direction we're going in. And it's important because in this episode, we get the declaration from Croa that she's just actively doing whatever she wants and that ultimately no one can really do anything about it. That's pretty much what Croa is saying, and I really respect her for doing it. But the thing is here, first off, let's appreciate that Croa is some kind of... She's effective, man. She's really effective. When you look at the amount of destruction that she could potentially cause, the woman's very effective. She manages to summon a giant monster that the girls need to use a giant mecha to fight. Croa's super effective. The problem here is that Croa's effectiveness, they're trying to accentuate it with Ursula's incompetence. And this is just something that Ursula's character has been saddled with. Ursula is very incompetent. That's just how it comes back down into it. Ursula, technically, she has enough knowledge that she could probably try to stop Croa. She could probably try to communicate with the other witches. She could probably try and get Finneran on her side to try and do something. She could probably try to tell Akko what's actually going on with Croa, but she's not. Now, a lot of people might feel the need to defend Ursula, because Ursula, we can see that this girl has gone through some problems. We can see that her confidence in herself is shaken, but at the end of the day, that's what plays into her incompetence, right? The poor girl has victimized herself to a point that she is very useless in all of this, besides letting the viewers know that Croa is actually a bad person, or Croa's up to something. What purpose was there in Ursula going in there at the end of the episode and talking to Croa, besides just letting the viewers know Croa is going to do whatever she wants to do, and that Ursula is not going to stop it, even though she knows she's doing whatever she wants to do. It's a pretty rough situation, but that's how Ursula's character is being used here. And even if next episode Ursula decides to get in gear and finally do something about this situation, it won't really change that in the past Ursula has allowed Croa to do whatever she wanted to Akko and not tell Akko about it. This is a nasty situation. Ursula's incompetence is going to get people hurt, or it's going to get things going on, depending on how hardcore of a villain Croa is. Because at this point, Croa is still just testing the waters. She's just doing her experiments. Yeah, her ethics are kind of compromised, but for the character archetype of researcher, that's still par for the course. She's at the end of the day, Croa could cause a lot of damage if she really wanted to, and she probably is going to cause a lot of damage towards the end of the series. Just because we've seen a city on fire so far in the flash forwards. But, at the end of the day, things aren't so bad because Croa seems to have some kind of logic that's guiding her actions. And even if she's like just holding back now and she's not going to unleash it later, you know, it's a messy situation. I think that Trigger's trying to build up Croa as like this big villain, but it's not working when the person that's building her up as a villain and like giving us the exposition on her character as a villain is just so incompetent. You know, it's just, I don't care, man. I don't care. At the end of the day, Akko can ride a mecha. It doesn't matter to me what Croa can do. It doesn't matter to me that Ursula is just so confused about what to do with Croa, because at the end of the day, Akko can ride a giant robot if she really has to. Like, that's the one thing I'm taking away from this episode. It doesn't matter. Constance can save the day. I don't need Ursula around. Ursula's here just for like the plot with the shiny rod. At this point, Akko and Constance can probably throttle Croa if they really have to. I mean, all they have to do is make a giant robot. Like, guys, I really think that giant robot can beat most of the threats that could pop up in this show. It's just, you know, it's just funny. It's just funny. And I'm sorry that I speak so harshly of Ursula, but that's just the fact of the matter. Ursula's incompetent. That's how they play her gags. That's the gags that we get out of Ursula. It revolves around her incompetency. It revolves around her being berated by other witches in the school. And the point of drama here is coming again from Ursula's incompetency, because she doesn't want to talk about any of her problems or tell Akko that she was violated and mind raped. But mind you, I'm still praising Constance, and to a degree Akko, because at the end of the day, Constance is freaking adorable and she's probably the most competent character in the show, because I've already kind of put my points out there. But in terms of the episode itself, you know, it was nice to see Akko trying to help Constance. It starts off with Akko messing up, then we get the whole sequence seeing Akko's incompetency, and you know, that's fair. That's fair, because like Akko has other things she's good at, and this episode did a pretty good job at redeeming Akko, because at the beginning I think, yeah, Akko, you're just causing a lot of trouble, but then she figures out what she can do, and that's specifically Akko is a people pleaser. She's good at talking with people. I was kind of hoping when she was talking to the little cook guy that she was going to mention like, yeah guys, remember when we were in the strike together? But no, what she did was equally as good, just telling him like, hey, she's doing something really cool, do you want to help out? And then she goes out around the world and collects all the materials for Constance. That was great. You know, that's like legitimately, that's something that Akko can do, and it just shows her qualities as an entertainer and as a people talker. Like, she understands people and she can get what she wants if it comes to like those very extroverted occasions. So, you know, we have Constance as the introvert and Akko as the extrovert, and it works really well. Other things the episode did really well, I think the boat and the mecha sequence, like on a technical level, in terms of like the animation, the mecha sequence is amazing. And again, Gurren Lagann feelings coming from that. When it comes to the mythological references that it put in here, we got the Wild Hunt, or variation of the Wild Hunt myth. Now, I'm going to be very careful here, because last week I made a mistake with the KKK analogy. But this week, I'm pretty sure, like, it's English magic. You know, Little Witch Academia is based on Old English magic. So I'm pretty sure that this variation of the Wild Hunt, because I'm pretty sure Wild Hunt showed up with hellhounds, and they had they rode on horses. They were horsemen, but like this combination, they're wearing animal skin, and I'm pretty sure that's something that druids do. I'm pretty sure that's some kind of variant of druid myth, wearing those animal skins like that. But even if it's not, like, I understand, like, they have a very English magic motif to them, and it's just cool to see them around. And it was cool to see them help Akko and Constance at the end. That was amazing. But overall, though, like, you know, this video, I spent it a lot talking about the technicality of Little Witch Academia as a series, and I apologize, but you know, it's just important that you guys understand where I'm coming from with this series, and like just where my thoughts are with this series at this point. But the things that the episode did really well, or the main points of the episode, were like Constance and Akko bonding, the mecha fight, and Croa's last minute involvement towards the end. You know, those were the three big things of this episode. Everything else was just the gags. And again, you know, in terms of the gags, the whole Akko going in a minecart and being launched out through the bed, again, you know, it's funny, but when you look at it, it's just flat out Constance is the best character. She can do the most damage if it came down to it. This girl, she is the one who can save the witch world if she had the desire to do it. But Akko's gonna do it instead, and Constance will help. As a Constance fan, I'm actually pretty happy that Constance got this episode. Like, because, you know, at the end of the day, When it comes to narratives, you can tell that the main character is going to get the majority of the time, and the other side characters are just going to get like something. Susie and Lot are probably going to get some kind of thing in combination with Aku later on. But when you have characters like Amanda and Constance and the other one, I'm sorry for forgetting her name. When you have those characters, the most that they can do is just give like some side support in the final battle. So I'm really happy that Trigger took the time to, have fun with this character. Because again, the mecha fight was just fun. But guys, that's where I'm going to end off this particular video. It turned into a bit more of a discussion on the technicality and the aspects in the future of Little Witch Academia. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode, and I love that we got a Constance episode. Anyway guys, let me know what you thought down below. Until next time, I hope you have a very great day.